That's right, folks. You are once again watching another COVID edition of Fanatics and the Fan. I really hope that we get back to normal at some point. But I'm also finding that I love this new format because I can do a lot of different things. And the best part is I get to mute people that I can't do when we're all together. So this has been interesting. So we're going to do a different kind of show. As you guys know, over the last few months, Fanatics and the Fan has partnered up with, of course, Pop Goes the Culture, which you can find them at popgoestheculture.com. As well as a lot of other mental health people, including starting our own group called Fellowship of the Nerds, which is specifically designed to help facilitate and advocate for mental health, especially at these current times. And I brought some friends on today to help me talk about, explain, and explore what it's like, what it's going to be like, and how we are dealing with our own mental health in this new COVID world. So please welcome back to the show, of course, a wonderful fanatic, uber nerd. Will talk your ear off about psych if you let her. Please welcome back to the show, of course, my wonderful friend Emily. Say hi, Emily. You're still muted.
Hello,
Emily. How are you, dear? How are you coping with the COVID world as it is?
It's obviously a different world, and I'm an actor, and I'm also a student, so the world is just, it's exploding. It's the apocalypse, everything's ending. No. I feel like it's just the same as everybody else. I feel like it's a very, universal experience for everyone. There's a lot of upheaval in everyone's lives right now, and I don't know, I think it's comforting to know that we're not alone in it, but it still sucks, you know?
And to me, that's as far as our mental health goes, that's a big part of it. Welcome to the show, a wonderful person that I've got to meet recently, and I have a strange feeling we're going to have a lot of amazing discussions and topics. She is a gamer nerd, a cosplay nerd, a litany of stuff that I don't even have the full list of. Please welcome to the show. We're just going to call her Loot.
Hi, you guys. So I am Loot. I am a Twitch streamer, and my stream is called Mental Health and Makeup. So I paint my face and talk about feelings. And I think one of the biggest things I've tried to focus on with the COVID world we are in now is that we're isolated but not alone.
That's exactly what's brought us here today. Because what we've got here, and you guys probably don't even know this, and our fans probably don't even know this, but we've got four different types of isolation, 4 different age brackets, 4 different types of nerds, and 4 different types of coping mechanisms during this. And I'm still calling it a crisis, not only because I'm a DC fan and I love Crisis on Infinite Earths, but because that's what it feels like. I mean, Emily mentioned earlier, I feel like every once in a while I look outside and I'm thinking, you know what, if Rick Grimes was to roll by my house right now with a horde of zombies following him, I'd be like, and close the door. Like, it must be Tuesday, you know?
Yeah, I literally saw something the other day where it was like if a ghost possessed someone in 2020, and he was like, I'm a ghost, and the other guy's like, I mean, okay.
One of the things that really, really tickled me was I saw one that said, today marks year 5 of 2020.
Yes.
So let's talk nerd for just a hot second, because 2020 COVID world nerd is completely different than what we were used to. I mean, even Emily, you know, we were recording Fanatics and the Fan, you know, twice a month, and going out to events and going out to conventions, and trying not to get my heart racing thinking about the stuff that we're not being able to do right now.
Yeah.
What has your nerd life? What has changed in your nerd life right now in the last couple of months? And we'll start with Emily.
What has changed?
I mean,
Well,
you're a tabletop gamer even, so you got to
Yeah,
get the
so
D&D on.
I play D&D, and because, we can't meet in person, it's actually been helpful because we've been playing over Discord, and we've been using like Roll20 and everything, and so we like video chat and use like Google Hangouts, and then we play on Roll20. So it's a very different experience. I hope there comes a day when we can all be in the same place. But we're still finding ways.
Before we get into, honey, you're muted. Honey, you're muted. There we go.
How about now?
There you go. So,
I don't even know. This and Zoom, no more. There was an update and now they don't work. I don't know.
okay. So what has been your biggest change in your nerd life in the last few months? Be it good or bad?
All of it? all of it? No, all of it. All of the festivals and like costume contest stuff, all of those things gone. All of the conventions gone. All of the stuff, I had runway shows. No more runway shows. I had some like creation workshops and stuff gone. Nobody wants to buy tea from me anymore because it weirds them out because they're afraid the tea might have COVID. So nobody wants tea. So no tea. And like I normally make a bunch of stuff, but like I can't make it because I don't have money because I don't have a job because of COVID. So therefore the budget doesn't allow me to get the stuff for the things that I want to make, and therefore I don't make the things. So it's like
Right. What about you, Lou? What's been the biggest, what you almost, and I can say this without hopefully triggering anybody. I would say 2020 has almost been as close to a PTSD type trauma. What's been the biggest effect for you?
I feel like I am one of the very few people. It didn't really change anything for me, but I'm a stay-at-home mom of 7. So we just didn't go to big, huge events because there's 7 of them. And I love them. And they're my own tiny nerd army. But there are 7 of them. And so we were pretty much homebodies to start. I guess like the only change in nerddom is that we've actually been gaming more as part of homeschool, because it's great for strategy learning and for addition, and like just depends on what game you throw in there, and you can always be learning something. And so for us at the home front, there's not been much of a change, but I've seen in the Twitch communities, on Twitter, on Insta, I've seen the effect it's taking. And I think that because people who may not have experienced any struggles with their mental health are now experiencing that, I think it's actually opening a doorway for the conversation.
I think that I'm just throwing this out there based on what you said. I never considered I think everybody has a level of depression. I think everybody has a level of anxiety somewhere. Might not be the same level as somebody else's, but it's there, and whatever. I never considered myself to be somebody who has anxiety. I would get anxious about things, yes, but I would never say, oh, blah, 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 anxiety, or oh, da-da-da, depression, or anything like that. But I do now. I do now.
One of the things that I say often is that I truly believe that everyone struggles with mental health. Some just struggle better.
Yes, exactly.
So Emily, as an actor, so you're as an actress, you've got the students that going to school all the time. you have so many projects that require you to be around so many people. I know at the beginning of this, it was pretty rough on you. Am I remembering correctly? This March and April were not your finest hours as far as dealing.
Yeah.
Even a house full of roommates, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So yeah, the end of that year, well, one, it felt like that school year just never ended.
Right.
Because we didn't, like, the seniors couldn't graduate. People, like, there weren't showcases that year because at the end of the year, the seniors do a showcase. So, like, nothing was happening. The classes we were in, like, just, like, went online. So everything changed. So it was really interesting. And yeah, I did live with 3 other people. But, like, they went, when the shutdown happened, they all went to different places. So I was just, like, mainly, like, alone for the most part of it. And so, like, it was odd. And especially since a lot of the stuff I do very much has to do with interactions with other people. And while I would consider myself an introvert, it's hard to be an actor by yourself. So even now, when we're back to in-person classes, it's still different. We can't have a certain amount of people in classes, which is good, right? We can only be there for a certain amount of time. We wear our masks. And we have to, like, most of the time for a lot of these classes we're on Zoom. So as a person who, like, human connection is the sole part of the craft, it becomes something very different. And it's hard to find, like, artistic excitement and development whenever you have that whole, like, most of it kind of shoved down, which we're able to do some things. I was just in a show over Zoom. So, you know, we're doing what we can in this ever-changing world and this industry. But it's just one of those things where it's a hard pill to swallow, and we just have to get used to it. Because even now, even if we find a vaccine really soon, the industry isn't coming back the way it was before. So,
and that's literally like the best segue ever, because this particular Fanatics and the Fan, this show is not just about the nerdy stuff that we always talk about. This is about helping the nerdy friends that we have coping with the mental health issues that they are currently facing, have been facing, and are getting ready to face. And that's what we want to help you guys with by first telling you about the Fellowship of the Nerds, which is the Fanatics and the Fans mental health group. It is a private group so that everybody can say whatever they want. All you have to do is send a message to Fanatics and the Fan here, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever. And there are other resources out there. That's one thing we want to talk about. I know for a fact, Emily, your school has all sorts of mental health resources for people, correct?
Yes, we have Hotlines, and we have the counseling center. Anyone who's a student gets 8 free sessions a semester.
And then, Loot, you actually have a lot of resources and ideas for helping people that are like us.
Sorry, I can hear my little ones flipping out. So I had to text the other adult in the house, like, hey. So what I've found is that, like I said earlier, it's becoming more of a conversation. And there's even, like, I've been invited to participate in somebody for their master thesis wants to do streaming and mental health and its impact on the viewers. And so that's becoming, you know, that survey is a great way to kind of start to record what is happening, you know, and how mental health is being shared and how it's being received. And there's just so many amazing resources out there. I mean, I'm sorry, I just there's so much.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing the show. We want people to have access to that, to know that they're not alone, which leads me to Toni. Toni, you were invited to this for a different reason than you probably even realize, because you are an extrovert. You are a performer. You are an artist, and your entire world was decimated. And I bet you don't realize that I know that you have been in a room full of people, in a house full of people, feeling extremely alone and extremely depressed and extremely. And I know I'm putting your business out there in public. I know I'm putting your business out there, but I want people to understand you're upright in a time when it's been. And I think there are four of us here, and I think all four of us can admit there have been times in the last 6 months where being upright was a success.
Do you see this right here? I'm going to stand up for you. Do you see this?
Yeah.
This is not my pajamas.
Right. Hey, I have personally counted
right
my
here,
days.
This is brushed and clean hair, and these are brushed and clean teeth, and these are eyebrows that I put on and makeup that I put on. Like,
wow, I'm really proud.
Right? We have measured our days. Who of the four of us, who can say that they've had days when a T-shirt was the fashionable thing to wear that day for the whole day?
Some days that's the best you can do.
I go days where I wear the same thing throughout the day that I wore to bed. So, like, I wore it to bed, I wear it all day, and then I wear it to bed again. And
I told my best friend, my mood is directly related to whether or not I'm wearing a bra. Because you've got those days where you just, like, don't even want to go that far. You've got your pajamas on, and you're covered.
Half the time, there's no point. You're not leaving the house.
At one point in March, 1 week, my entire success of the week was whether or not I had on pants. The following week, it was the exact opposite. My success was whether or not I didn't have on pants.
I think I went like 4 weeks. Like, this is gonna weird people out, but anybody who's here with us is gonna get this. I think I went like 4.5 weeks without having to do any type of laundry at all whatsoever.
I don't want to tell you how long.
Right?
One of the things we don't like to talk about, and I mean, I'll go a step further. I mean, when you are struggling, I call it the fail spiral. When you're struggling to get out of bed without failing your day before you leave your room, I went an incredible number of days without a shower because that was it was so daunting to do something to take care of myself when I felt so crappy. Even though I know I feel like a great human when I get out of a shower, but I couldn't find the motivation to care enough to wash my hair.
This is how bad it got, and I'm gonna add on to yours. Not trying to one up you, but I never stopped working. But I guarantee you and I can go pound for pound as the same day we went without showers. I still went to work. Thankfully, I never got a complaint from a customer, but there were days, because it's like, honestly, and I guarantee you, I'm going to put you guys back in four-person mode. Just like, show of hands. How many times did you contemplate getting out of bed and going to the bathroom when you had to? And then you still got an extra 5 minutes in bed before you made it to the bathroom. You guys, we all willing to admit that that's happened? And for me, it's been the opportunity to binge watch. I've sat here and finished an episode, like, I should go to the bathroom. The next episode rolls up, I'm like, you know what? I can wait 30, 40 minutes.
I'm also just like, if I'm watching something with my roommate, sometimes I'll be watching something and I'll like have to pee, but I'm like, I don't want to stop watching. I don't want to make her not watch it anymore because I have to pee. And so I keep going, and then she's like, all right, I gotta pee. And I'm like, oh, good.
Success!
For me, it's forgetting a meal. I'll hit 6 o'clock and I'm like, did I eat today? And it's not like intentional. It's just so much going on and so little motivation.
I have found I'm gonna play off of your eating thing here. I have found that it's not that I'm not hungry. I don't want anything.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I don't. I mean, I have enough food in this house that I'm living in, which is a whole other story for today or another day, but whatever. There's enough food here. I could cook just about anything. I don't want any of it. So then I make it and I eat it, and then I'm eating it, and I'm like, I don't want to eat this because I don't want it. But I have to eat it.
Let me ask you ladies something real quick. Who is in their current COVID position, like they're where you've been for most of COVID? Am I the only one that's in their COVID position? Chloe, you're okay.
My couch.
But from where you are in your COVID position, is there a snack at arm's reach or close to? Can you turn and see your current snack?
There's some water.
I'll admit I got my chips right here. I got my water right.
I normally
sit at the dining room table and I have water and coffee at all times.
So because I'm single, my bed has become that's all of them. I've got 3 laptops, my PS4 and my phone. So at one point I said to myself, if it starts to feel like I'm nesting, I need to get off this bed and go do something. When I realized I had food in arm's distance, I was like, it's a wash. You got to get up. Got to get up and do something different. And actually, it's stuff like that made me formulate the group. Like I said, Fellowship of Nerds. You guys can send us messages via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, as well as Loot. Tell them where they can find you as well.
You can find me on twitch.tv/mental health and makeup. And I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday live, but I'm always my Twitter, my Twitch, my Instagram. I'm always available for an ear if somebody wants to talk or yeah.
So now let me ask. Let's try to get a little nerdy and get some less depressing stuff. Talk about some fun stuff that I love to talk about. What's the last thing you had to binge that you started binging because of this? And wait, I'm going to start with Toni because this is a unique situation because this is not her thing. She doesn't sit around and watch nothing, but yet you've had an opportunity to do that, haven't you?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of stuff. It's weird. Because it's all stuff that people already know. And so I'm like, hey, I know this thing. And everybody's like, yep. I've done some recent watching that most people have probably watched, so like The Mandalorian and Snowpiercer and things like that. But I did binge watch most of the Marvel movies.
The fact that you watched your current on Mandalorian just is literally mind-blowing to me and all of our fans because we know you better than that. That's just absolutely crazy.
So yeah, I actively watched The Mandalorian. I've actively watched Snowpiercer. I did binge watch Clone Wars and Rebels. Like a lot.
All three of those things, Mandalorian, Clone Wars, Rebels, is still better than the last 3 movies. I'm going to move on and ask Emily what she...
Right? Yeah.
So none of the Star Wars haters can jump on me. But, Emily, what have you been...
Haters!
What have you been... Because I know you try to stay busy, and I think that's going to be a major part of how we get through this, is staying as busy as Emily, if not more so. What have you had time to dig into?
So for a bit there, I much like the food, nothing seemed appealing. I would start something and it just wasn't. Like, I just didn't want to watch it. And I did my fair share of rewatches, you know. I watched a bit of Doctor Who. And I watched a bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but mostly starting newer stuff was just really difficult because nothing made me want to watch it. And I've actually recently started watching Lucifer, which is a pretty fun show, mostly because I was doing research on it for an assignment, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm in. Here we go.
What about you, Lou? Has it been? I mean, you're mostly gamers, but did you take time to binge watch television, or?
So, I was a terrible nerd for a long time. I have
So was Toni, but we forgave her.
My sister's 15 months younger than me, and in a very petty way, if she thought something was cool, clearly it was not cool. So I turned 30 last year, and my older brother was like, "That's it, it's done. You're watching anime," because I never watched at all.
The fans, for those of you that are watching this, I don't really know this lady. Somebody else introduced her to us. We all know that anime is the greatest thing ever, and she should have been watching it.
It's okay, Loot. I don't know a lot of things either.
Well, I feel like you're like my spirit animal with the technology issue, because I had it just right before you did.
Yeah, like, there's a lot I don't know. TV, I don't know.
Let me ask you this, because I will admit, there have been some pluses to this year and this current, again, crisis is the best word I can come up with. Because we got the release of the PS5. We got the release of a lot of amazing... Miles Morales came out. And I never thought... Honestly, at the beginning of 2020 in January, if you told me Miles Morales was going to get a video game, I told you were crazy. Marvel was not going to give any one of their black characters a video game. It wasn't going to happen. And Miles got a game, and apparently it's a great game. So... we've had some great games come out. So let me ask you this, Lou. What have you been gaming? And what have you seen? What improvements have you seen? Has your gaming gotten improved, maybe?
So because I don't normally game on stream, I will do my gaming and nerding out off stream. The problem is, Loot the Body is not just a name. It's a way of thinking. And so I like to 100% stuff. So I actually downloaded Lucky's Tale, or Super Lucky's Tale.
Right.
And I just smashed it in 4 days. I just did all of the things. And my kids were like, "Can we play?" And I was like, "No. Let me finish it and then you can play." Because you work for the lives, you work for the progress, and then they just kill you because they think it's funny to jump in the lava. So, I played a lot of that, and I've been playing Destiny 2 since the big DLC dropped.
Right.
And for the most part, I do a lot more board game, card game, sometimes the Switch with the kids, more interactive. But for my guilty pleasure gaming, it's definitely been a lot of Destiny 2.
Actually, so my Fortnite gaming has gotten slightly better enough to where I don't die.
I'm so garbage at that game.
I am too.
I am a total, absolute trash can when it comes to Fortnite. I can't.
I call my shooting style a panic attack because I just freak out and shoot in circles.
I went out and got myself an Alienware Area 51 amazing Fortnite machine. Still can't build. I don't think I've actually built anything in Fortnite in the last 3 months. But I did get a #1 finish in a solo where I actually killed the person. They didn't die in the storm. Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
I have also I haven't got downloaded the new World of Warcraft update, but I have been playing World of Warcraft. I just don't want to do another update. I am so sick of updates. I'm tired of it.
I've completely, because I'm not going to say it's totally because of COVID, but probably because of COVID. But probably because of COVID and my mental state, I told World of Warcraft to go.
So now, that brings me to an interesting question.
I just can't.
Because I've been using World of Warcraft, Fortnite, Star Trek Online, and other things to help with my mental health.
The hate and rage that comes out of my body for World of Warcraft is not healthy for anyone. So I said, F it, I'm out.
So we know that I've been using video games and talking online with friends and talking online with Zoom has been my mental coping mechanism. What's everybody's coping mechanisms right now? Emily. Who's looking at Alexa like she's barely coping with us right now?
I know.
I go to regular therapy because I'm not sure.
I
Not
dare
yet, at least. We're getting there, you know.
Honestly, Emily, that is probably the coolest thing you could have ever said because, and all four of us could say we have at least one friend that would not do that just to help themselves because I'm tougher than that or I don't need that or whatever. At this point, if you don't need therapy, there's something wrong with you. Look at what we all have endured in the last 10 months, 11 months.
Even before the pandemic, I always thought everybody needs to get therapy, even if it's once a month or every 3 months, at least because I think we get in the habit of just not looking to ourselves enough or kind of, I guess, especially if you have a lot to deal with, in your everyday life, it's always helpful to have somebody who's not directly involved with your situation as just a helping hand or a guiding force so that you're not, just trying to figure everything out on your own or even just to call out your bullshit and tell you, hey, your past 3 months, you should do some shit,
If you want to do that, if you want to have somebody do that and save yourself some money, just call Toni.
I got you. No. I've been I don't know what I've been.
Yeah.
I've been very not anybody who knows Fanatics and the fan and knows me from there, and anybody who knows me remotely in any way, shape, or form, I can honestly tell all of those people that that person is this current Toni is not a person that you or I know.
It's been rough, and I would say all of us have changed in a way. What about you? What are you using as your main coping mechanism right now?
Honestly, painting my face. Because I stumbled into it. I've been doing the makeup for a year, and honestly, I never knew it was something my soul would need to work through my mental health. I actually started just a few months after I got my diagnosis. My mental health journey has to do with I have bipolar disorder. And so learning, the hardest part about it is knowing if you're manic or just busy, or if you're depressed or just, mediocre, and trying to learn what that feels like for you and recognizing it's something. And so when I get on stream and I can talk about mental health topics and I can pair it with a look and people can understand what it is, that feeds my soul. And so that's definitely my coping is streaming.
I was just sharing some of your work with the fans so they could see it. And that is honestly an outstanding answer is doing, because we forget sometimes that we actually know we are sometimes our own best therapists, and we deny ourselves the things that would actually make us feel better. I got up and went for a jog the other day, and I realized I needed to go for a jog. I needed it. Or I have I use television to make me feel better, and I have a cycle of shows to watch when I'm depressed, when I'm not depressed. Zachary Levi, and Chuck. If I'm depressed, I promise you, if I ever tell you I'm watching Chuck, make sure I'm not too terribly depressed and I didn't start watching the show too late. If Chuck is on, something has happened. Most likely. That's just how I am as a person. Folks, you're watching a very special, weird edition, not weird, bad word, apologize for that. A unique look at nerddom and mental health on Fanatics and the Fan with a lot of amazing people. I couldn't have picked a better group of people to help me do this tonight. I thank you so terribly much for that. Again, you guys, if you want to find out more about mental health from Fanatics and the Fan, we have a group called the Fellowship of the Nerds, where we help each other. It's a peer-to-peer mental advocacy group that is designed to lift each other up. We laugh, we cry, we make fun of George Lucas as much as possible.
Wah, wah.
And so, not to be on a depression. Let's talk some nerd for a minute. Oh wait, there's nothing new happening. Oh wait, I know. Are we at least excited about Wonder Woman?
That's my coping mechanism. Is
right. Are we at least excited about Wonder Woman next month?
Nope.
Why not, babe?
Nope. Because if I wanted to watch Xanadu, I would just watch it.
I mean, I don't even know how to follow that, but I'll go to Emily next.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
If you wanted to watch Xanadu,
if I wanted to watch Xanadu, I would just watch it. No, I mean, I thought Wonder Woman was a good movie. But like, I wasn't like my favorite superhero film of all time, and you know, I thought it did well, and I thought, like, obviously women, but I don't know, I just don't like the way DC movies are set up most of the time. So, I'll watch it, and maybe it'll surprise me. I don't know, but
what about you,
Luke?
Anything that I consume as far as shows and movies are typically ages 10 and under. So I've not had a chance. We're slowly working through the Marvel series chronologically, and I think we're like 4 or 5 in.
Proud.
But watch the language right around Age of Ultron.
Yeah, well, I'm like a mama bear already when it comes to content that they get to consume, and so we'll be watching it and they'll say a swear word, and all my kids are just laughing because they look at me and they're like,
"Yeah,
sorry."
I'm gonna admit this for everybody. So Age of Ultron was on, and I didn't know that it was on. It was just on. And so I came into the room and I was like, oh, hey, my partner, Bernie, and he was watching it. And I was like, oh, hey, what are you watching? And he goes, Age of Ultron. And I went, what's that?
Now, mind you, Toni is our comic book nerd. And next, you knew that storyline before the movie came out, didn't you?
Well, I did, but I don't know, it looked, because I had never seen Age of Ultron. Because I hadn't watched the Marvel movies, and so I was very confused, like who is that? And he's like, that's Ultron. And I was like, what?
I still haven't seen very far into the series. I want to watch all of it, but
yeah, my brain didn't comprehend that the thing that was Ultron was Ultron. That did not make that connection.
You think you were watching Blacklist? Is that what it was?
I didn't know what I was. I don't even know what Blacklist is, but like, I didn't know what it was. I was very confused because I was like, isn't that like the Marvel guys? Who's that dude?
I will say this, as a nerd, I was very proud of what Marvel had accomplished. Okay, I can say that. Of course, I was not 100% in agreement on every decision they made. But I was extremely proud that we got that series, because I think Toni is the only one that was old enough to understand this. It wasn't that long ago. There was never a thought of something this great in our nerd.
Oh no. Mm-mm. No, absolutely not. There was a time where, like, a few people, I know there's some olders of us, whatever that means. I don't even know what I just said. Whatever. I know that there was a time where it was like the comic book movie played in your head when you read it. And when, anything, like even, like I said, I saw it and I went, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Oh, that's Ultron." My brain did not comprehend that as Ultron. And sometimes that happens. Like, the Harry Potter books are a great example. I read all those books, and a lot of the stuff in the movies is not what I saw in my head, but that doesn't mean I don't know what it is or I can't identify it. Right? And so now that Daniel Radcliffe has played Harry Potter for so long, Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. So no matter what you saw in your head when you were reading Harry Potter as Harry Potter, that image is gone now because Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. There's the image of Harry Potter that you had is gone because it's been replaced. So now the image of Ultron or whatever it was that was in my head is now changed because that on the TV is Ultron.
Yeah, I will admit they were so far. They were so far from the cartoon and comics with Ultron. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed, but there was a disconnect for me, especially with James's voice. James was brilliant, but I would have never imagined that as Ultron from what we got, what we were getting in the comic or as kids. So
he's too peoply. He's too like sleek and human.
Yeah, he was so human. And again, I know James did exactly what they asked him to do, but hey,
but who am I to say anything? I don't know.
I mean, I
will, and you can laugh at me because I know you're going to.
I will.
But anyone in the DC world who watched Aquaman, now we're going to take Jason Momoa out of this completely. Aquaman, right? First of all, Mira was terrible, but we don't need to get into that. Secondly, of the superhero movies, I enjoyed Aquaman without Jason Momoa, because we're not talking about that. I enjoyed Aquaman because I felt like I was watching a comic book. I didn't feel like I was watching a movie.
I will agree with you on that, and I also feel like they were able to redesign a character that they had let society destroy and make mockery of. Yeah. Aquaman is a necessary, and I think Will Wheaton said this at a convention once. It was the best thing Will Wheaton has ever said ever, in my opinion. If you have a planet that is 2/3 water, you gotta have a superhero from the water. It's just,
right. Like, it's cool that we have Superman and all, but
but in all honesty, you very rarely ever saw Superman in water, which he can do and hold his breath forever and everything else. Y'all look at me like I'm crazy. I'm telling you, Aquaman don't suck. Superman is kind of a pain in the ass. He was worst character ever created because he's too damn all powerful. I've said it. Deal with it.
My older brother feels the exact same way.
Same with the Flash. They made the Flash way too damn powerful. At least Wonder Woman has, at one point she was stronger than Superman, then she wasn't, and it became a thing. Now we've got what Gal Gadot has done, and now we know that she has absolute limitations. And I'm okay
She
with
has said, I don't know if this is public knowledge. Maybe this is just something I know. I don't know. But she has said that she's only doing the 3, and that's it. She's done.
Yeah.
She's not doing more than 3, because she,
I wouldn't want to work for that studio either.
well, she phrased it more in the she doesn't. How do I say this without sounding like an asshole? Because I can't. So I'm just going to say it, and then I'm going to back it up. So ultimately what she said was she didn't want to end up like, 50-year-old Johnny Depp trying to be Jack Sparrow. Which, let me back that up and say the only reason Jack Sparrow exists is because of Johnny Depp.
Yes.
So,
I had a conversation last night along the same lines, and not last night, but it was like Friday night, and we were talking about the horror of going into a sitcom or a supernatural or anything that's long running, and then you never get a job afterwards.
Procedural dramas.
Yeah, anything.
But you also don't have to.
You don't
have to.
What I'm saying is that as an actor, and Emily will back up on this, what you want to do is you want to work after you're done working. So let's say you do I'm trying to think of one that comes to mind other than Seinfeld. I hate using that one as an example.
Friends.
How I Met Your Mother. Jason is the only one. Jason and Neil. Well, Neil went straight to Broadway because that's Neil. But Jason is the only one that went straight to movies, and he'd only done 2 movies, and they weren't that great. But Kobe went straight to Marvel, and then now she's got her own series, and like I said, when you're done working, you want to go back to working as quickly as possible. Fresh Prince. Will Smith was the only one that survived Fresh Prince, which is sad. Because Alfonso was famous long before Will ever was. Am I right or wrong, Emily?
I think it's complicated as an actor because I think it's difficult to go into contracts, especially for things like Marvel and other things. I know some of the actors were like a little iffy on it at first because of the fact that if you're in a contract with Marvel, it's difficult to do other projects. Whereas like if you get onto a procedural, there are many actors out there that don't get, like most actors don't get anything for years upon years. And, the goal is to move up from like co-star, you get one line an episode or like during an episode and then you're done, to like guest star or a recurring role. And you just like want to build your way up from there. And if you can get
is a classic example.
That's pretty big. So, like that builds your career. If you don't want to be someone who is tied down by that, then you just have to make sure you have people that like reflect that in your contract. I think with Gal Gadot, I think it's important, especially for her, because I think it's so difficult to play iconic characters because then people will see you as that. But I like to think of like Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger, and also Belle. And so like 2 different generations of people are going to think of her as different things. And she's also played a multitude of different roles. And the role that Gal Gadot is playing in Wonder Woman is helping her probably get other roles as well, because they realize, okay, she's someone people can look up to and follow.
And here's our nerd, and you've just led me to our nerdy question that none of you are going to want to answer, but deal with it. What iconic character would you be just like, no, I'm not doing it, can't do it, it's already perfect, no, I'm not doing it? And I'm going to start with Emily. And yes, Luke, you are involved with this too, because video games count.
What do you mean?
Okay.
What do you mean, like, do what?
Like, let's say you are happy with your life, but you are offered to play this incredibly iconic role that has already not been screwed up by somebody else. And you're like, okay, here's an example. Will Smith originally turned down Aladdin because he was like, hell no. you kidding me?
Right. Why would I play that, Robin
Right.
Williams?
And I really wish he had just continued with that statement of, hell no, I'm not doing it. But I digress.
I think he did a good job.
I think the issue was in writing because they tried to make him Robin Williams and they didn't let him be Will Smith. That was
right. Well, I mean, he still should have done it, in my opinion. But
he was the best thing in that movie. Everything else was garbage.
Well, yeah, of course, because he's Will Smith. That's not the question. This is just me having fun, ladies. What role is just too iconic for you to mess with? Is what I'm trying to get at.
See, your question is too black and white because
I like her.
It would depend.
You would.
It would depend on.
I'll do mine first. How long?
I'll do mine
first because it's already been done. It's been done several times. And I will say that the first time I seen it done with Will Smith was the best one. And I don't need to mess with it no more. And I would never play Muhammad Ali. I wouldn't. I mean, we all know if somebody offered me the right amount of money, I would go do it. But
that's the thing. That's why it's like you're making it too black and white. One, it depends on the project. Two, it depends on.
I know. I'm relying on the black and white stuff so that if it ever gets offered to me, I can still take it.
Right.
Just go with me and have fun, Emily. Stop overthinking it.
I mean, for me as an actor, it wouldn't depend on if someone else had played it before. It would depend more on the role itself. Do I feel like I, as an actor, could feasibly play this role? Do I feel like I, as an actor, like, depending on if the role is a problematic one, do I want to do that? So, like, it all just depends on a lot of different factors. But I'm an actual actor, so.
I'm going to pop that. Hold still. Where's your head at? You squeezed it. Just. What about you, Toni? What role is? What character is just iconic and fine the way it is?
Angelica Houston is Morticia Addams.
I 100% agree with you.
Every other Morticia Addams after her just sucked. Even if they're a really good actor, actress, artist, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't matter.
Now, I will say the last one wasn't so much her as all the people around her. She was fine, but everything around her was awful. That's just my take on it. What about you, Luke?
Xena.
And I heard that they were talking about trying to do that one. If I'm not mistaken. I hear things. I don't know if they're always accurate, and I hope they don't ever do it because you're right. Xena was fine. Then we made it back to Emily already with her politically correct answer.
Oh. Am I supposed to do something else?
Yes. Come up with a real answer instead of your politically correct one.
But I don't know what the answer is. I haven't thought about whether or not I'm going to take over after someone. I'm just trying to get through the day. Let me get that co-star role first. Jesus Christ.
I swear to God, Emily, sometimes you are the greatest thing that happened to me ever.
Thank you. I think that's a compliment.
Folks, you have been watching a very special mental health edition of Fanatics and the Fan. It has been a true honor to share the jokes and stories with these lovely ladies. And what we're here to do is to let you guys know that there is more to what you're going through right now than sitting at home, binge watching television, and making bad decisions. We know that there are negative effects to the current crisis that we're going to, and I bring that up because there's a possibility of we all going back into it. The weight loss, the depression, the
weight gain,
right? The withdrawing into yourself. There's more things out there to help you than a lot of people realize.
There are. I'm going to offer this up this isn't something I would normally do. But due to the current light of the world, if someone reminds me, because we all know how cosmic my brain is, but if someone reminds me, I will put a link to my Discord server, and on Tuesdays, Eastern Time, 7 p.m., I run a comical pirate, loosely based on 7th Sea tabletop game. Not that I'm necessarily inviting people in to come play the game, just because we are in the middle of crazy, and bringing a new player in would be exceptionally difficult. But if anybody would like to sit in and hang out and listen to our stories and our pirate shenanigans and our crazy antics and our random tangents and weird things that we're doing, I'm more than happy to share my Discord channel with people for that. Also on my Discord server, I have a Hearthstone group, so if you play Hearthstone and you want to have a place to go to talk to people or to team up and play, I will put that out there for anyone who wants it.
All right, what about you? Final thoughts?
My final thoughts?
No, I said Luke. We just had your final thoughts.
Oh, I thought you said okay. You. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I love watching things like this come together and meeting people who are like-minded and aware that there's a conversation about mental health and that it needs to be more available. And through gaming or through podcasts or streaming or school, I mean, there's so many different avenues and angles that this is affecting everyone. And I feel very honored to be a part of the conversation here. I'm very excited to see what Fellowship of the Nerds looks like moving forward.
Emily!
Yeah, I would just say that, with mental health and with a pandemic and everything going on in the world, just be patient with yourself and with the people around you, because with mental health, it's not going to go away just because you want it to. So just allow yourself to be patient and do something for yourself today. And that is all I've got.
Well, and really quick to add on to that, you don't have to justify not feeling good. Mm-hmm. You can just say, I'm having a bad day, and you do not have to defend it. You do not have to explain it. And I think
you don't have to apologize.
Yes. I think that people are finally starting to learn that.
You don't have to feel guilty either.
I am going to, for my final thought, I'm going to first of all thank my guests and my fanatics, and say, the person that I get along with the least in the world sent me a message when I was at my lowest and said to me, why are you not taking care of yourself? Because you're out here taking care of everybody else, but why are you not taking care of yourself and your own mental health? We are going through a time, if you combine all four of our ages, you are not going to find a worse time in our history than what we are going through right now or have been through this year. You just won't, because it's unheard of and unimaginable. This is stuff that is written about in science fiction books. And yet here we are, and we've made it. In less than a month, we will have moved on past the trials and tribulations of 2020 and moved on into bigger and hopefully better things in 2021. So you've got to stop and say, how can I take care of myself and the people around me? send a message to Fanatics and the Fan, and we will add you to Fellowship of the Nerds, and you can join a part of the conversation for mental health for yourself and others. And I offer you one last suggestion before we sign off. If you can't find a way to help yourself, go to McDonald's. I kid you not, I'm not joking. This is not to be meant to be funny. This is what I do. Emily, stop it. She knows I'm going to say.
I felt it. I'm not even kidding. I felt it.
Go to McDonald's. Listen to the person either in front of you or behind you to their order. If you can afford it, pay for their order. You'll feel better within 20 minutes. It's kind of like Morpheus and the cookies. When he felt better when he finished eating that cookie. I promise you, you will feel better. And you can take the next step forward to whatever it is you're trying to do. That's all we can do is move past that one step. Like we were saying earlier, get out of bed and put on your pants. And
think about all of the think about all of the things that you have accomplished. Even if all you have accomplished thus far is putting together a jigsaw puzzle or whatever. Think about all of the things that you have accomplished. I have grown leaps and bounds as a person over the last 8 months than I have in the last 8 years.
And this really caused a lot of mandatory reflection.
Yep.
And we are here to help. Fanatics and Fan will hopefully return back to normal after the first of the year. And if we don't, then we will continue to focus on mental health. You can find us every Wednesday night. We have Wait and Watch Party Wednesday, combined with our mental health group, Fellowship of the Nerds. We also have family game nights on Friday nights from time to time, where we just sit around and fellowship and joke and laugh and realize exactly how much trivia we don't know. We do dinner and a movie on Sundays, where we literally get together and break bread together via Zoom. We just recently watched Tag. No, I was not crying. You were crying. And of course, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube, because this has been the wonderful mental edition of Fanatics and the Fan.
Bye.